Hello, good morning, and welcome to our Safer Internet Week Seniors Forum. We are extremely happy to have you with us. I'm Shanique, and I'm the Business Communications Manager at Flow, and I will be hosting today's session. With me is Shelly O'Connor. From time to time, you'll hear me speak with Shelly, and we'll just have a little banter, but we are excited to be here and focus on you. We have an activity-packed program ready, but before we begin, let's do some shout-outs to see who is here with us. Do we have anybody from the National Council of Senior Citizens? If you could raise your hand, we're excited to see you. All right, do we have anybody from the New Testament Church of God? Do we have anybody from the Ridgemont United Church in Mandeville? Do we have anyone from the Churches of from the Churches of Christ Jamaica? Anybody from the Portmore Church of Christ? Do we have any CCRP members? Awesome, I'm seeing some hands. Fantastic.
Yes.
Do we have
CCRP.
Anybody from the Bethel United Church? Do we have anybody from the Royal Ambassadors Church of Christ? And finally, do we have anybody from Church of God International? Regardless of where you're from, we are extremely excited to have you. I believe that you will be learning some amazing information today about online safety in regards to banking, with regards to how to spot a scammer and what the police has to say, and also how to navigate the internet, because who doesn't know that? Who doesn't need to know that? We all have little questions, and so at the end we will be having a section just for questions. But before I begin, I want to cover some house rules for Zoom. We ask that you keep your camera on because we want to see you, and we also want to ensure that we're engaging with you, providing information that is relevant to you and that resonates with you. At the beginning of our session, we had an early bird prize. So for the first 10 people who came on, my colleague Shelly would have sent you a message directly, and that's because you are a winner. So we didn't tell anybody about it, but we were really excited when the first 10 people came on, and you would have received some Flow credit. So please check in the inbox or the chat section on your Zoom, and you would have seen Shelly send you a message and provide you with some information for you to access that gift. Without much ado, I am excited to introduce Inspector Powell. Inspector Powell is from the Communication Forensics and Cybercrime Division of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. This lady is a powerhouse. She is a lecturer, she is a police officer, and a whole lot of things in between. I am extremely excited to welcome her and have her talk to us about how to spot scammers. What do we need to know when being online and in the internet and navigating the internet space? I'm looking to learn something, and I am sure that you are too. Inspector Powell, welcome.
Thank you, and good morning to our viewers.
Really nice to have you.
It's a pleasure being here. I should go ahead and start?
Yes, please go ahead. We'd love to hear your presentation, Inspector.
All right, thank you. I am from the Counterterrorism and Organized Crime Investigation Branch, where the Communication Forensic and Cybercrime Division lies. Now, today we will be speaking on the issue of safety online. Now, the aim of the presentation this morning is to highlight the needs for members of the society to join together in helping to create a safer internet. Now, I'll be touching on a few areas. They are mainly internet safety and its importance, understanding the vulnerabilities the elderly face online. We'll be identifying some tips to spot and avoid being scammed, and we'll be looking at how should you report incidents of scamming and how to safely use online platforms. Now let's go straight into it. Now, February 9, 2021 saw the 8th edition of Safer Internet Day, which is a celebration of actions taking place right across the globe. And the theme internationally is Together for a Better Internet. Now, it represents a call to action for stakeholders to join and play a part in creating a better internet for everyone, and especially for youngsters. The theme for Jamaica, though, is Together for a Safer Internet. Now, we all are impacted by COVID, and COVID has isolated us, isolated children, youths, and the elderly, thus causing online to have more risk. And the increase in risk we are going to be looking at are fraud, cyberbullying, and cyber-related crimes. Now, what is internet safety? It is the act of staying online. It includes being aware of the associated risk, the online activities, and employing strategies to prevent being exposed to these risks. Now, internet safety is also called online safety, cyber safety, or e-safety. Now, internet safety can help our children and adults from being exposed to unwanted information, materials, and risk of being online, and risk of being online, and risk of your devices being harmed, and also your personal information being shared. So we are looking at trying to prevent persons from falling into common dangers of the internet. Now, what are some of the dangers that we know of? We know of identity theft, and as young people, we are seeing where there are a lot of oversharing. We know that there are online predators, and we are affected by human trafficking, pornography, and sexual offenses. Now, phishing is another issue, and we'll delve into it a little more. And that is where persons seek to gather personal information using deceptive methods through websites and your email. Now, when we look at the risk, the associated risk of cyberbullying. Now, while cyberbullying is not a crime, so to speak, in Jamaica, it is covered under the Cybercrimes Act of 2015, where we are familiar with the term cybercrime. We are familiar with the term cyberbullying, which includes sending and posting and sharing negative, harmful, false, meaningless content as it relates to persons. Now, it results in embarrassment, humiliation, and sometimes we have seen in countries abroad where persons commit suicide. Now, cyberbullying is not a problem that is only common to young people. Senior persons are affected too. Now, do you post? And I know all persons here can say yes, but posting, what are some of the things that you need to bear in mind when you are posting? And some of the things we'll delve into, but firstly, cyberbullying takes place on a lot of social media platforms. They are listed on the screen, whether it is Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, all of them. They are avenues by which cyberbullying takes place. Now, let us move quickly into, next slide, please. Let us move quickly into the other risk, inappropriate content And I must hasten to say that for especially young people, inappropriate content that we would see would be where persons have ended relationships, and as a result of revenge porn, they end up posting matters of that nature online. Now, speaking especially to the elderly, online scamming, it happens generally, but based on our presentation today, online scamming, and we know what scamming is. It's a type of advance free fraud which begins with an unexpected email notification, phone calls, and or mail. And we know that we have been impacted by that. And for the most part, in many instances, you'll find persons indicating that you have won a large sum of money in the lottery. Now, as we look at elderly persons, senior citizens, some of the factors that make them vulnerable, they lack computer skills, they lack internet skills, and they're more trusting. So I'm sure we can attest to that. Once persons are willing to listen, they will talk. So they become vulnerable. Now, it is for us to advise them that not all that glitters is gold, and not all the persons that are around them and that are online can be trusted. Now, let us move quickly into how we can spot and stop being scammed online. So we advise never to trust a link that is sent to you by someone that you don't know. Never to trust an email that asks for your personal account information. That's called phishing. The scams are getting smarter, and they often contain text that warns you against fraud. Now, the scammers do this because they want persons to believe that an email that warns them to be careful about scamming is legitimate. So that is an area that we need to look at. As we move on to the next area, never respond. Now, from time to time, we click on emails which we deem to be good, but they are not. So you should avoid responding to emails, especially from persons and organizations that you are not familiar with and you are not expecting an email from them. Never believe that someone you don't know is willing to give you money. So we know we are in harsh economic time, but take a second look. Think before you respond. Next slide, please. Now, do not believe that persons from other countries just see you and want to transfer monies to your account. They need your account information and number, so they will do anything for you to give them the information. Do not accept any emails or communication that you don't know, don't trust. If you never enter the lottery, you cannot win the lottery. So scammers will ask you to provide information, and they'll tell you that you would have won the lottery. So if you have never entered, do not expect any winnings. Think it is going to be scamming. Now, don't believe that really rich and famous persons wants to help you out. These scammers will use a lot of creative ways to get information from you, whether it's your telephone number, your banking information, all of that. So be careful where that is concerned. Remember, the Law Reform Fraudulent Transactions Special Provisions Act of 2013 is a legislation in Jamaica that addresses scamming. Now, what are the options available to you to report scamming? The Counterterrorism and Organized Crime Investigation Branch stands ready to take your report, 967-1389. The Lottery Scam Task Force, and that unit is located in Montego Bay, is also ready to take your report as it relates to scamming, 948-0400, or you can always email the Lottery Scam Task Force at jcf.gov.jm. You can always call the regular telephone numbers 311-119-811 or visit your nearest police station. Now, safety tips when you are using online platforms. Now, never share your password. And for security, ensure that your password characteristics is 13 characters up. Never leave your device unattended. There are a lot of unauthorized access that can occur. Seek to understand the privacy policies for the different social media platforms that you log into or log on for. Monitor online activities. So we urge you to become internet detectives, and internet detectives seek to find out what it is they're getting themselves into before they act. Do not share your personal data or information unless you have valid reason to do so. Watch out for phishing and delete suspicious emails. Now, always keep your system updated with the latest software where you can. Now, back up your data regularly, because you know that at times when your system has been taken over, you will lose your personal data. Understand the dangers of the internet and be good online citizens. Be aware of strangers. Now, remember back in the days we were told not to talk to strangers? The same thing applies when you're operating online. Predators of online crime, they use the internet as a guise. Share responsibly and be careful what you post. Remember, there are legislation both here and abroad that treats with breaches of the law as it relates to online activities, and you can either find yourself behind bars or facing a lawsuit. So click with caution is an additional advice for you to follow. Be wary of using social media platforms. Now remember, persons use fake information, fake address, ages to sign up for the different social media platform. Whilst the internet is very good, it can be a dangerous place, so use it with caution. Whilst you have signed up for the different social media platforms, whilst you use the internet, ensure that you keep your privacy setting on. Now, as parents, as adults, as senior citizens, you need to educate yourselves. Educate yourselves on cyber safety and implement computer safety tools and best practices at home and even at work. Now, as I conclude, we can't stop persons from shopping online, but as is displayed on my screen, you need to look out for the HTTPS. You need to look out for the HTTPS. That's the Hypertext Transfer Protocol secure. That is what it means. Now you would use your cursor to look at the URL address and to confirm that there is a padlock there as what is represented on the screen, and then you'd know that that particular site is secure. Now, in concluding, the COVID-19 pandemic renders individuals and society extremely vulnerable in all respects. During this crisis, we all rely more on computer systems, mobile devices, and the internet to work, communicate, shop, share, and receive information and other communicate. As we seek to ensure we maintain social distances, now there is evidence that malicious actors are exploiting these vulnerabilities to their own advantage. So do all you can to protect yourselves whilst you are online. Now, we recommend that you guard your information well and stay alert whilst you're online to prevent being ripped off. Demand validation, verification, and authentication before giving anyone your information. If you feel uneasy and in doubt, say no and check further. Report unscrupulous activities to the police, a family member, and or anyone that you trust. And lastly, seek counseling if you have been scammed, defrauded, or been exploited whilst online. So that brings the end of my presentation. So I urge you to stay safe whilst online. Together for a safer internet, you can do your part too.
Fantastic presentation, Inspector Powell. Some of the information that you shared is absolutely new to me, and each time I'm in a forum where I hear what's happening online, I get these tips, it always comes to me really fresh because we don't always follow the rules. We don't always do what we need to do in order to stay safe online. Inspector Powell, as I have you here, I wonder, if you would be able to talk us a little bit more about scamming, because normally when we hear about scamming, we think it's people abroad who get scammed. It's not just us locals. Can you briefly speak to us about whether that is happening here, and in a few seconds wrap up the main tip that we need to keep top of mind?
All right. Definitely. Scamming is alive and well in Jamaica. What you have to understand, as I said before, if you have not won the lottery, do not expect a return, right? What you can do is to think before sharing any personal information about yourselves. The scammers will call, they'll send you email. Do you know the term, what looks too good to be true is not necessarily true. So you will see things posted online that it costs $1. Say a computer that really values $1,000 US, and you opt to accept that offer, then you end up being ripped off. So you have to be alert, you have to be smart. As the times go by, the scammers are getting smarter and smarter. They're changing with time. So we have to educate ourselves. We have to understand what is happening in our space. And whilst we act, we ensure that we act responsibly and understand that there are implications if we act otherwise, negative implications if we act otherwise. So guard against your personal information. Do not share your account information. The bank will not call to ask you to share your information because the bank already knows the information. You have not, as I said, won any lotto, and that's the biggest thing in Jamaica in terms of a call, that you have won a lotto, but you did not buy a ticket. So remember, even when the promoters of lottery in Jamaica is advertising their product, if you don't have a ticket, you don't have a chance. So if you didn't buy a ticket in the first place, there's no way you can have a chance. So be alert and operate responsibly whilst you're online.
Really sage advice. I really think that it's important for us to remember that we want to be winners, but if we don't have a ticket, we don't have a chance. And right. I think that's an absolutely great segue into online banking. And before we get into that, I really want to share my own experience of having received an email to say I won something. It was a time where I really wanted to win something. I was low on cash. I was like, if I win this money, and they asked me to send my bank details, and it is something I wanted to fall for. It's not that I knew it wasn't real, but I really wanted it to be real. Right. And I was ready to share my information and make my own self vulnerable in order to win something I knew was impossible, but I wanted to think it was.
And it is going to look real. It is going to look as real as the real thing. So all you need to do is to put the cursor over the person, the person sending you that message to see whether or not it's actually authentic. Because sometimes it is an email address that they'll copy. So let's say it's Christine.jam the Christine might be missing one letter that makes that email address that is sent that has sent you an email fictitious, but you are familiar with Christine.jam.
Yeah.
So it's important to observe what it is that you're doing. And whilst we understand that from an economic perspective, we all could do with a little more cash, we have to ensure we are doing the correct thing, because we will lose the little that we have.
Very true. Very, very true. Thank you very much, Inspector Powell, for such an interesting and informative presentation. If you, I don't want you to leave. We need you to stay for some Q&A a bit later. But the next presenter that we're going to have is going to speak to us about online banking. And just now, we spoke about how vulnerable we are when we give our accounts to people who may engage us online, telling us we won. And I'm looking forward to this presentation because, you know, I told you, I really wanted to give my account and I was ready to make myself vulnerable. But I'm happy that we have somebody like Robin Williams, who is the customer service representative at the Bank of Nova Scotia, who will be joining us today to talk to us about online banking. I know that we have lots that we need to learn, and Robin is the man ready and willing to share that with us. Robin, how are you doing today?
Let me say I'm doing fantastic.
Love it, love it. I am ready for your presentation, and I am certain that all the wonderful people on today's session are ready also. So let me hand over to you. Robin, take us through this amazing presentation.
All right, thank you ever so much. Let me say that the Scotiabank Group is extremely delighted to share in this kind of forum because, as you all well know, that Scotiabank is very keen about our online and mobile banking platforms. And not only that, we always take it pleasure to share and to educate our customers about this exciting feature. I'm going to be making the information very simple because I know that we are working with our seniors, and so I'm going to just divulge the information in the very simplest of form. So you have all been hearing about online and mobile banking, and every now and again I smile when people talk about online. They seem to put some little joke to it, to say that, boy, the only line they know about is clothesline. And they keep on saying these little things, never go pan line, those kind of a things. So the seniors are well into it because some of those very jokes come from them. So what is online banking? Online banking is that banking which allows the users to conduct their financial transaction via the internet. You'll also hear about the term internet banking. That's the very same thing. And to get it even more exciting, it is not just about accessing your accounts online, but Scotiabank offers also mobile banking, which allows customers to conduct their financial transactions through their mobile devices, such as their mobile phones and their tablets, etc. So that's very common and popular these days. You can access the Scotia Online Banking by visiting our website. You'll see that being displayed, www.scotiabank.jm.com. And you will also be able to use search engines such as Google, even Yahoo, and others to search for our online platform. The mobile app, which goes by the name Scotia Caribbean, can be accessed from the Google Play Store, right there on your Android devices, and also on the App Store for those who are using the iPhone. That's their operating systems. Why is this online banking platform being promoted like this? Why is it Scotiabank? is taking the time out to speak about online banking, Scotia Online, because of the numerous stuff and services that it offers. You can check your account balance, and we are saying, you are doing this at the comfort of your home, in whatever space you find comfortable. We are talking about seniors, some of them looking out for their pension, no longer have to pick up a phone to call the bank, no longer have to journey to find the nearest ATM just to check a balance. They stay home, utilize an online platform, and check their balance. I think that is incredible. Not only that they're checking their balances, but customers are able to view up to 13 months of their account history. So the transactions that you would have transacted over a period of time, you will be able to view those transactions, remind yourself that you did this particular transaction over 6 months ago, over 8 months ago. That's just fantastic. With online banking, and this is a big one, you will be able to pay your bills. Scotia Online and your mobile banking offers that. And this is big because when you consider the inconvenience nowadays just to pay your bills, to stand up in lines, and for most part, based on COVID, a lot of persons can't even enter into the buildings themselves. They have to be waiting in queues outside before they can get on the inside just to pay a bill. The online Scotia Online platform allows our customer to make their bill payment right there online. And it gets even more interesting because we offer services like transferring your funds online. Yes, that granddaughter who calls you about some difficulty they're in, and you really want to help them, but they are way in Manchester, you're still there in Portmore, you can stay online, transfer the fund to that granddaughter, and help them in the quickest of fashion. I mean, I don't know if it can get any more exciting than that, but it is. There's still more exciting feature because with Scotia Online and the mobile banking, customers, including seniors, can buy their credit. Fantastic. You can buy a $100 credit, your $200 credit, top up your data, all those wonderful stuff right there at home, right there with a little small device in your hand, on your laptop, on your desktop computer. Just fascinating. And you can also access credit card statements. And this is important because if you're waiting on a statement to come through the mail and that statement came late, that can result in late fee. With your device, you can able to access those credit card statements, pay your credit card bill on time, and the list could go on and on. It is a fantastic platform that Scotiabank is offering. But to make it even more interesting, you say, but all of this is so much, it should be a very tedious process to register. Scotiabank is saying to you, no, our process for registration is extremely quick and easy. Simple steps. Simple step like just clicking on the register now button on the Scotia Online sign-in page. And once that click is made, you only now need to complete a form to confirm your identity. You are the one creating a username and a password. And as you hear from Inspector Powell not too long, it's not something you share with anybody. You create it, you alone know it, and you keep it all for yourself. And once you do that, you can log in and you say, once I create my online banking or register, do I have to wait a couple months before I start using it? No. You log in and use the platform immediately, right after registration. So let's just tell you about some benefits. By now, I think some of you will be figuring out all of this because it's very easy to use. We have heard the feedback from the customer, oh man, this is so user-friendly. They're saying it is not like some of the other institutions where the steps are so difficult. They are telling us, and we know that it is extremely easy to use. Not only that, it is convenient. That's the big word we want to leave with the seniors and everybody viewing, that our online banking platforms are very convenient and accessible anywhere. You can choose to do your banking on your own time. Even those times you have some experience where you just wake up in the middle of the night and you can't go back to sleep. Some people choose to read a scripture during that time. Some sing their favorite song. But a lot of people in those instances take up their device and said, let me see what's happening on my account. So that's a nice little time to do some of your banking. And your transactions are done in real time. That's just enough benefits for everybody to start shouting all over the place and start calling Scotiabank about this wonderful platform. Our security guarantee, this is important, because you would have heard some of the concerns about persons that have concerns about security. Scotiabank platforms are highly secured. We operate in a highly secured environment, and we want our customers to know that we will fully reimburse you in the unlikely event that you suffer direct financial losses due to unauthorized activity in your account through Scotia Online Financial Services, provided that you would have met your security responsibilities. Some of those responsibilities were highlighted by Inspector Pinnock, but of course, we know that you ought to be extremely careful not to be sharing your password and so on to anybody. And once you are doing that, we are committed to giving you the reimbursement that you so deserve in the unlikely event of something happening against your account. I want to thank you so much. I hope I've helped to make it extremely simple, and I hope